Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Don. This is Rockin' the Country. I'm looking forward to this, of course. Carolina's Beauty, aka Phyllis, made a gift to the channel for me to do this song. So Phyllis, shout out to you. Thank you, my dear, for this gift and request. I know this is going to be a beautiful song just because you're a beautiful person. So that's what you always emit, put it out there. David Houston's Almost Persuaded. What? Makes me feel bad for somebody because they're almost, but I don't know. And you said this song has been covered by many artists, but this is from 1966 and is the first version that you know of. So let's see. Have I done anything by David Houston on the channel? I don't think so. Let me check. No. Yeah, I know there's a Houston Lumber up here in Jersey, and they spell it H-U-S-T-O-N. And I know in New York City, of course, you've got a Houston Street that's spelled exactly the way the city in Texas is. Houston, that's how most people say it. In New York City, for some reason, they say it Houston. So, go figure. Anyway, let's see what David Houston's got for us. And who is Almost Persuaded and why?
Last night, all alone in a barroom, met a girl with a drink in her hand.
He wasn't all alone, was he?
She had ruby red lips, coal black hair, and eyes that would tempt any man. Then she came and sat down at my table, and as she placed her soft hands in mine,
pretty aggressive.
I found myself wanting to kiss her, for temptation was flowing like wine.
Never heard that before.
And I was almost persuaded to strip myself of my pride. Almost persuaded to push my conscience aside. Then we danced and she whispered, I need you. Take me away from here and be my man. Then I looked into her eyes and I saw it, the reflection of my wedding band.
In her eyes was the reflection of his wedding band. Huh.
And I was almost persuaded to let strange lips lead me on. Almost persuaded, but your sweet love made me stop and go home.
But why was he in the bar room by himself in the first place? If her sweet love is at home, why is he out? Did they have an argument? But I like this. Like on the U.S. currency, it's at like bills. I don't think it says this on coins. There's not enough room, but it says backed by the full faith and something of the U.S. government. And that's what's called fiat currency. It's only based on trust. It's like, okay, if I use this $10 bill, it's going to be good for something. Well, now you just swipe your cards, but the cash is still taken everywhere. But that's like our word. When you have a wedding band on, you're saying, I'm not going to be with anybody else. If you don't have a wedding band, it's still on the table. Let's put it that way. But that's really in our culture. That's your word. That's your fiat currency. Your honor is your fiat currency, saying, I'm not going with anyone else. And that's what he came up against, because she was a smoke show and she was available and she was assertive. Now, for me, and I'm not that different than a lot of guys. Some guys don't care. But if a girl is that forward with me in a bar on the first time she sees me, she's doing this with other guys. And that's an immediate turnoff to me. But when they're beautiful too, it's like, okay, how much could it hurt? Like, you're going through these. You've got these ethical, moral dilemmas. But as wedding band, done deal. You don't get up and dance with a girl unless they've been a friend of yours for decades or whatever, and your wife knows about this person, but not when you're out by yourself. And I mean, is that extreme? I don't think that's extreme. I think that's just fair, common sensible, honorable thing to do. I don't know. There's so much joy when you've got one person that you're completely, your allegiance is completely to that person. Because when you're with them and you're sitting across from them at dinner, or you're just in the living room watching a show or whatever, your mind is only on them. It's not wandering, and you get to experience the fullness of one person. I know from my set, many women are beautiful. Many women are absolutely like ridiculous. I mean, just turn the TV on. They're pre-selected to be ridiculously beautiful. But you still, within your own soul, being, heart, mind, all that. I know for me, I want all of one person. And that partly emanates from within me, not the desire, but how I perceive that person when I'm with her. Like this thing in the bar room, I get it. But he welcomed her. She sat. They danced. It's like, dude, it shouldn't even get to that point, because it's easier to stay out than it is to get out. And I think Twain said that. I've said that on the channel a few times. Just be careful. It's like drinking wine, or like if you don't want to spend your money, don't get into drinking wine, or don't get a boat, because you're just going to go down this path of wanting better wines and bigger boats and, upgrade fever with boats. You boaters out there know what I'm talking about. But it's best just to not take that first step, because in this situation, if he were to kiss her, there's no way it wouldn't go further. They may not go all the way. He might be able to hold back at that moment, but it gets a lot harder once you get that first physical touch and taste. It's so, yeah, beautiful voice. And it was just had that 60s feel. It's orchestral. And you had the stringed instruments in the back, and you had the almost choir-like, but you had the backing vocalist coming in. And his voice was very nice. And a lot of younger folks think this way, that back in the day, none of the salacious details of human life or relationships were part of songs. That it was all just this angelic, boring type stuff. And this just shows human nature has not changed. In a culture in which weddings and wedding bands are part of society, and they've been that part of American society since our founding pretty much, that you just don't mess around if you've got one of those on. And you shouldn't be tempting somebody if they have a ring on either. So I don't know what her deal was, but to me, beautiful or not, she's just up to no good. And what do you say? A temptress. And he avoided it, and I liked it. He kind of went a little bit, but then he's like, nope, my wife's love, she's at home. So Carolina's Beauty. Yeah, I wonder where David's from. David Houston is from. I don't look that stuff up. There's only so much time in a day for me. I'm going to rate this based on that storyline And the number that immediately popped into my head was an 8.7. I liked his voice. I liked the way he sang it. The instrumentation was very sort of proper. And it would bore a young kid out of their mind. But when you get older, when you get to be my age, you can hear this stuff and you're like, oh, I could picture myself in that circumstance. Not exactly, but at times, yes, especially in our 20s. Some girls are really forward in college, for instance. So, all right, folks, there you have it. You can thank Carolina's Beauty for that one, a.k.a. Phyllis. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.